What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So it's a huge thanks for coming back. We really appreciate you. So today we are going to be working on Bryce's truck. The goal for today is to have our final design for the cradle, which we're going to be cutting here in a little bit, and start figuring out the actual links to this thing, because obviously PVC, it's not going to work. We've got, and by the way, for those of you that haven't been keeping up with this project, this is my buddy OBS Bryce. We'll leave a handle to his YouTube and Instagram right here. This is his truck, which we're working on together in collaboration, building what we're calling an 8 to 12 inch 4-link kit right now. That's not set in stone. We obviously have to play around with different springs, height, see what's going to work, what's not going to work. But at least that's what we have in mind right now that we want to do. Last couple of videos, we showed you our track bar bracket, our axle truss, double shear pitman arm. Before he brought me the truck, he had done a high steer setup on this thing. So it's going to have essentially HD steering with all Heims, DOM tube, our track bar bracket, DOM track bar bracket with Heim joints everywhere. So again, super solid setup. And again, this was version 1 of our cradle. This thing's gonna have a 4-link setup going to the rear, and then this particular truck's also gonna be an air ride on the rear, so it's gonna be 4-linked on the rear as well. But once I made this cradle, I decided that there was a lot of things that I wanted to change to, make it a little bit better. So we went back to the drawing board and we made quite a few changes. For one, we made it quite a bit longer, dropped it down a little bit so that it would be a little bit more visible from the side of the truck. Amongst other things, we made the spot for the logo a little bit bigger. We kind of changed the look on the sides a little bit. Nothing too crazy, but I'm quite a bit happier with the final, what I'm hoping will be the final design for this cradle. Now, I want to answer a couple questions about that cradle. Obviously, the one that we're doing for this truck, like I said, it's 4-link front and rear, because that's the setup that we're doing on this truck. Like I said, the rear is going to be on airbags. But we will be offering different versions of it. Maybe not from the get-go, but we're going to have just a 4-link front cradle. We'll have a 4-link front cradle with the traction bar set up for the rear. And then we'll have it for crew cabs, extended cabs, and single cabs. Now again, like I said, we might not have all of those setups from the get-go, from the beginning, but we will be working on it. So again, we'll try and cover as many of you guys as possible. Super excited with this thing. So we're gonna go ahead, load a sheet of steel on this thing, get that new cradle cut out. Hopefully it works, because we don't want to waste too much steel, because this stuff's getting expensive. Yeah, it sucks, but we gotta do what we gotta do. Anyways, actually, you know what, before that, I have a pretty decently big announcement. We're bringing back a product that a lot of you guys have been asking us for, and that is our Chevy Silverado jump seat brackets. So these are, if you guys have been with the channel for a while, you'll know that on my green truck, the dually, we installed a GM jump seat, and we made these brackets for that. We sold them for a little bit, but we had discontinued them because they were too expensive to build. We came back, we redesigned them, we made it to where that's only 2 welds per bracket. We were able to bend most of it with the press brake, well, pretty much everything with the press brake. They're actually a lot better. We made them quite a bit stronger, and obviously we've got the logo on there. Great looking piece. Actually, let me go show you on the truck. Okay, so here we have it. Like I said, this is a Silverado jump seat that we have in our OBS. Now, the coolest thing about these jump seats is that you have proper cup holders in this thing, and 3 of them. Again, I absolutely love these center consoles. They have plenty of storage. Not sure how comfy they are, because I've never sat out on it, but again, plenty of storage. They look really nice with this leather or vinyl, whatever it is, but really nice. You have a spot for your phone here, more there. 3 cup holders. Super easy install with those brackets. Now, a couple of things that we've discovered with them is that They do not work on trucks that have seat pans or extended cab trucks. So they only work on the single cabs, crew cabs. And again, they can't have those seat pans. So, you know, if that works for you, great. Again, we're super excited to bring these things back. You guys have been asking for them over the last year or two that we haven't had them on the website. So they're live right now. Go get them. And again, guys, thank you. So like I said, let's go ahead, jump on production, get those, well, actually prototyping, get that cradle made. Okay guys, so we've got that first cradle finally cut, and this thing's a beast. And by the way, if anybody ever wonders why things cost what they do, this is just what's gonna be one cradle, like not even the full set, just one. And it takes up pretty much half the sheet, a little bit more than half of the sheet. Keep in mind, we still gotta do another one of these, the whole front setup, the links, everything, and that's not even including the rear yet. Man, this thing's just freaking awesome. Like, it looks even better in person. Like I said, this thing's ginormous. Hopefully it looks good on the truck, like the way that I want it. Again, we made it quite a bit longer just because I wanted it to look really, really good under the truck. And also just make those links a little bit shorter. There's still going to be obviously a long arm 4-link kit, so it's going to have plenty of length. But like the rear, we didn't need to have them, you know, be that long. And again, these things are gonna look freaking awesome. I still want to figure out, you know, like a good way to do our BDD on there. It's obviously gonna have an overlay. That's what these smaller holes are for. Freaking missed one. And I swore I came back to do it. It's okay, we can drill it out. But man, I'm so excited to put this thing together. So what I'm gonna do now is take it out of here, run it through our belt sander, get it cleaned up. We gotta do one bend on that one all the way across. I'll talk about those reliefs here in a little bit. And then this other inner piece, you know, inner brace, support, whatever you want to call it, is also going to take one bend on each end. These other pieces right here each take a bend, and we'll be ready to start putting it together. Oh, man, I'm so excited to see this thing all put together. I love it. Alrighty guys, so I'm gonna go ahead, get all this stuff cleaned, and yeah, like I said, we'll take off from there. Okay, so one really cool feature about this thing is that it has basically like an overload safety or whatever, and that's what it just did right now. It was probably a little bit too high for most things that are, you know, a little bit smaller, stuff like that. If I see this thing around the 50 amps, that's pretty good. Between 30 and 50 is where it does its best work, where it leaves everything super nice and clean like that. And that's where I had this thing. Actually, it was actually right about 50, and it might have spiked up for too long, closer to the 75, which is where it shuts it off. So all we gotta do to reset it is turn off the power, which it already is, and then flip it back on, and it should hopefully come back. Yeah. good to go. So what I'm gonna do is lower the bed a little bit and send it through again. Actually, we're gonna flip it over because it's good enough. So we're gonna flip it over and run it through again. Alrighty guys, so we've got everything, dang it, almost everything. I forgot about these things over here. That's all right, we're running right through it. And this thing's freaking awesome. My only regret that I have buying this thing, and I've said this before, is not buying the Pro model, which is a 3-phase. I'm pretty sure that one would have been able to clean all this thing without hitting its overload or whatever you call the safety switch. But even like that, like look at the finish on this thing. It's freaking beautiful. I love it. I absolutely love it. So we have an 80 grit belt on that thing, which again leaves this beautiful finish. Plus on top of that, not that a lot of people are gonna be painting these ones, but on the rest of our kit, it makes it that much easier for you guys to be able to paint it in your own home, which I think it's a really big benefit. You know, it's already basically sanded and prepped for you guys. Now, whenever we shipped our parts, we actually coat them in an anti-corrosion spray, because we obviously send them bare like this and we don't want them to get over to you guys' house fully rusted out, which is something that we noticed in the beginning. We got a couple people sending us pictures, especially out, you know, east or closer to the coast where it's really humid. The parts would start, you know, flash rusting really quickly, and we didn't like that look, obviously. So we, again, like I said, we found a really nice anti-corrosion spray that we spray on everything before we ship it out, and that really helps with the rust, and it wipes right off with some acetone or whatever you use to clean your parts before you paint them. It'll, you know, get rid of it, which again, it's a lot easier and a lot better than dealing with, you know, rust on your stuff. But again, beautiful finish. Love that machine. I don't know what I love most. Like, that forklift is amazing. And by the way, I'm not a huge fan of electric vehicles, but electric forklifts are amazing. No noise, no having to struggle with turning it on, no having to refuel it. That thing's amazing. I love it. I freaking love that thing. That thing too, like, I love it. This is the machine that I've had, you know, knock on wood, the least amount of problems with. This thing also, obviously amazing. Freaking love it. That plasma table could be better, but I love it too. But that being said, we are ready-ish to bend that part. And I want to talk about the relief cuts. So this is gonna be by far the longest bend I've ever done on that press brake, and I spec'd it out to where it should be able to bend this whole thing without the relief cuts, but it's pushing it. Definitely pushing it. So that's why I chose to just do relief cuts. So these are 3-inch relief cuts, 6 inches apart. This, again, we should be able to still bend it and then come back and weld those shut, and it should be fine. It will be fine. Like I said, it's just, there's no need to put extra stress on this machine. This should work. And again, if you're wondering about the dog bone design on it, it's just so that to prevent cracking, basically spreading, it should hopefully help it not crack. And then once we fill it in with weld, it'll give us a nice spot to kind of start and end with our welds. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing fired up, let it warm up for a little bit, and we'll bend that, and the little pieces that I forgot to clean. Okay guys, so we have all of our parts cleaned. You know, even myself got cleaned up a little bit. And we're ready, as you can hear, to bend this part. Now, this is the biggest bend I've ever done on that press brake. And even though, like I said, we added those relief cuts, I'm still a little bit nervous to see how this thing's gonna handle it. So, you know what, let's go ahead. I've got it programmed. Let's throw it in there and let's see what happens. That was nothing. Sheesh. What a boss. Not really sure where you guys are looking at, but obviously we got to make sure that the angle is good. Alrighty. Not bad. Not bad at all. Man, that was crazy. Not gonna lie, it bent it like absolutely nothing. We might not even need those relief cuts. Honestly, it didn't even struggle. Dude, this thing is freaking amazing. Now that we bent the exciting piece, I'm gonna go ahead, bend everything else off camera, and then we'll start tacking it together. Okay, now what I want to show you is why we did these reliefs in a dog bone shape. Because as you can see, there's absolutely no cracks forming past, you know, where I wanted it to. to bend. And without those circles made at the ends, once we bent it, that line would have extended probably like this much past these relief cuts. So this again leaves it at a nice, really, you know, centralized spot where we want it. And then when we do go to weld it back in, having to fill in that little pit, make sure that we get really, really nice penetration right here and it's nice and even. We can weld it all the way across. Again, finish really nice, really hot. And then this will essentially be like it never happened, like it was never cut. Man, this thing, again, I freaking love this machine. Amazing. It's been a workhorse. It's so hard to say which one of all of these machines is my favorite. Like every time I use one, I'm like, man, I freaking love it. Again, the only one that I'm always struggling with is the plasma, but that's just because it's a mixture of things with that thing. I'm not gonna blame it on one thing precisely. Like I'm not gonna blame it on the table itself. The table, honestly, when everything's running properly, beautiful cuts, runs amazingly. Like that is a beautiful, nice circle cut. Like everything is super nice and clean. But then, you know, you have your little hiccups. Like where did it mess up? Right there. That looks like that little bump because it didn't finish the full cut. But again, I can't blame it on the table because maybe it was the actual plasma cutter or maybe it was even my programming. I don't know. But again, at the end of the day, I love it and you cannot beat that thing for the money. So I'm not gonna complain. But yeah, like I said, I'm gonna go ahead, finish bending and everything else, and then yeah, we'll take it from there. Okay guys, so we have the initial skeleton frame of the Cradle all tacked together, and that's basically this, the inside piece with the bend, and then all of the internal bracing. And this was obviously pretty easy to tack. Just make sure that this part is square to this part and nice and flat. You don't want to see a gap, which as you can see, we're really, really nice and tight. And you know, if you're a fabricator, you know, but you know, throw a clamp everywhere before you throw a cap. Make sure that you have your gap how you want it and throw a nice hot fat tack on there. Same with these things. So everything's ready to go. So we're actually going to move this off the table, bring the outside piece, put it on the table face down, and then put this on top of that. So let's go do all of that right now. Oh, it's fucking heavy. I am never asking you for help again with heavy stuff. Man, that was heavy and more than anything, just really awkward. And I know that I could have used a jack to bring it up, but I'm just afraid of it falling and not be able to control everything. But fortunately, the belly got it done, guys. We were able to lift it in place. My wife gave me a hand, and we got it on there, guys, and it's looking amazing. I'm not gonna give it away any more than it already is. Unfortunately, we're not gonna get to do the links today. As you can probably hear, the shop is pretty busy. We are cranking out parts, Jose's laying them dimes, and we definitely don't wanna stop the flow. So we're gonna save the links for the next video when we should hopefully have the other Cradle already on the truck as well. Another thing that I want to show you guys is that we have the next customer project dropped off at the shop, and this thing's gonna be freaking cool. So this truck's basically getting the works. It's a crew cab, long bed F350, and we're doing our front kit, our 47 front kit, our radius arms, our cross member, and then it's getting the rear 08 plus leaf spring hanger kit. Now, one really cool thing about this truck is that this customer bought it not that long ago, and he actually bought it with the 2017 plus bumper on it, as you can see right there. Now, the cool thing is that whoever had this truck before might actually be one of you guys because the bumper brackets are the ones that we sell, and they're actually the original version that we were making back at the house in our garage, which I think is awesome. So that's your truck. Thank you for the support. It's in good hands, and it's getting a lot of really cool work done to it. Now, that being said, we're still gonna keep working on this truck. We actually really need to get the links on this truck, because we need to either move it this way a little bit or actually put it on the lift, because I know a lot of you guys are probably wondering, it's not just for decoration. We're actually gonna be using it. I just haven't had the chance to wire it up yet. So over the next couple of days, I'm gonna be getting conduit, wire, all that stuff, and getting it hooked up, because we really need it. So the plan is to get this truck to a point that we can move it, put the next truck on the lift. That way we can just crank it out, especially because we actually have another truck coming right behind that one, right after that one. So I really can't believe it, guys. Thank you so much for the support. We really appreciate you. Hopefully you're liking this series. I love the way that this truck is turning out, and again, like I said, I can't wait to show you this truck, you know, on its full 4-link Cradle, the whole setup. It's gonna be huge. And like I said, I really can't wait to see this thing done. It's gonna be a cool truck. But again, guys, thank you so much for your support. Don't forget to leave a like, leave any comments down below that you might have. Don't forget to subscribe, because like I said, we've got a lot of really cool stuff coming down the line, so don't miss any of that. And again, just a huge thank you, guys. We really appreciate you, and we'll see you on the next one. Just about through this damn thing. This nut, one of those washers. Where are you? Let's get a washer somewhere over here. Do you see the bolt right there?
The flat side up?
Yeah, that doesn't matter on this one.
Oh, 'cause it's just walkable.
Yeah. Wait. Oh my goodness.
What do you want me to do?
Oh, there we go.
Which side is it?
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
Well, the nut. Oh my god. Just do something. Oh god. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, fuck.
I told you to wait for full set.
Well, we don't have all weekend.